Welcome to the Prumihimo YouTube channel. This video is a continuation of my series of videos about counted designs for Kumihimo, and specifically that is for fully beaded round braid made on the round Kumihimo disc. And this particular video is all about this diamond design. So this braid shows what I mean. So it's a sort of large diamond design, and that's what you can see in the sort of pearly colour there, made up of 9 beads. That's a sort of slightly slanting diamond, which works with the spiral structure of the Kumihimo braid. So what I need to say first of all is, to make this design, you just need to be aware of getting your disc in the correct position before you start to load the beads and add the beads in. And the reason I say this right from the beginning is this is a common mistake people make. So remember, your cords need to be in the north, south, east and west positions when you load the beads, and you don't do any further moves without beads after that point. So if you need to make a little bit of braid at the beginning, as you will, to put your clasp into, do that first, then get your disc into this position. And what you need to make sure is that your next 2 cords to move are top right and bottom left. And the way to identify this is either by looking at the point of braiding and seeing which cords were moved last, which in this case were these 2, so I therefore know that the next 2 cords to be moved are these. Or you look at the shaping of the cords and you're looking for the V shape as opposed to the more U shape, and the V shape indicates that these are the very next cords to be used. Or if it is your habit to leave one cord down to know where you are, your disc should be in this position, and then before you load your beads on, you return that cord to its original slot. And when you start to braid, you're going to start from that slot number 1, so you're going to know where you are. If it is your habit to go bottom up first, your disc will be in that position. And again, before you load your beads on, just return the cord to its original slot. So that is where your disc must be when you load your beads on. This is how you're going to load your beads on. So this is a threading chart that I've devised that works on a simple 4-row repeat. And you can take a screenshot of this chart if you want to, or you can head off to my website, which is Prumihimo.com, and if you search for counted designs, you will find the relevant charts there as well. So how does this chart work? Okay, we've got slots along the top, and just a quick word about slots. On most discs, the slots are in between the numbers, so that means that this cord here is in between numbers 32 and number 1. On some discs, you will find the numbers are right under the slot, in which case that slot is slot number 1. So these slots start at number 1 and work their way round the disc, finishing back up at the top again. Then I've indicated using letters that A is your background colour and B is your diamond colour. So when you want to start loading your disc, this is how you do it. I'm going to bring some beads here onto my chart so you can see exactly what I'm doing. This is far better, of course, to thread beads when you're on a nice beading mat that'll sort of grip the beads. So forgive me if they roll around a bit, but this is the way that I can show you exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with this column here, and I'm going to load on the beads that are indicated here. So this is 1 repeat. And then I'm going to repeat that as many times as I need to make whatever I'm making. Now you might be making a bracelet, a necklace, a lariat. So that is up to you to decide how many beads you need. All I can do is give you an indication, because everyone's braid is different and your beads may be different to mine. But as a quick indication, you will find that 1 repeat when you are using size 8 beads, will give you about 2 centimeters of beaded braid, and that is about 3/4 of an inch, but that's just very approximate. So have a rough idea of how many repeats you need, and then I recommend adding a few extra on, at least 1 repeat, maybe 2. And the reason for that is, once you move your cords, it's very difficult to know which cord is which. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. So I would suggest adding on a few extras to be on the safe side. Alternatively, you can mark your cords so that you know that the cord you had in slot number 1, when it moves around the disc, you can find that one again, and you can either put a little bead on with the number written onto it, or a piece of tape, whatever you want to do. But that's just in case you need to add more beads than you put on in the beginning. So for a bracelet, this is just a very rough idea. For a small bracelet, you're probably looking at 9 repeats, a medium 10 repeats, and a large might be 11 or more repeats. That's just an indication. Never take your braid off the disc until you're absolutely happy that it's the right length for you, regardless of whatever pattern you're following says. Okay, so how do I load it? Right, so I just start with slot number 1, I've got my cord ready, I go A, A, B, B. And so I've decided that these beads are A and these are B. So I just go A, B, B. And then it's 1 repeat, so I do another. That was playing hard to get. A, B, B. And so forth, until I've loaded on as many repeats as I believe I need, plus a few more. I do recommend checking once you've loaded them all on, because accuracy is absolutely essential in this sort of braid, and if you have one bead out of place, it will spoil the pattern. So once you've loaded all your beads, just check them in 4s. So I'm just double checking here, slot number 1, first 4 beads, A, A, B, B, A, A, B, B, etc. And that's how you do it. And then once you've done slot number 1, you move on to the slot that is in between numbers 7 and 8, or might have number 8 underneath it. And that one is going to be A, A, B, A. And that's how you load your beads. Now, with this particular braid, you will find that the beginning of the braid starts with a little bit of just A, and the end ends with it. So this beginning part is represented here. This is this row here of all A's. So when I finish my braid, I want to finish off with a row of all A's. Though 4 is B, A, 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 A. So once you've got to your required length, and as we discussed earlier, you might have added on more beads than you need. Take off any that you don't need, and then finish off with 1 size A, number A beads on each cord, just 1, and that will give you the corresponding beginning and end. So that basically is how you make the braid. And what you do with it then is absolutely up to you. So you can play with different sizes of beads, you can combine different sizes of beads, but don't forget, every change you make will change the dimensions of your braid, so always check as you're working that it's the right size for you. So this particular braid, I've used a little pearl coloured bead, size 8s these are, for the diamonds, and then I've used a bead mix for the rest of it. And so that's something like that. This one is called Electricity, and it's from glitzenKits.com. So you can have lots of fun playing with different ideas, different shapes, different sizes. And all I ask is that if you have used the information here, and used the charts that I've provided, that if you post it on social media, that you say a little word to me, about me, or my YouTube channel, because that's the way we spread the joy and keep our Kumihimo community strong. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like, maybe give me a little comment, tell me what else you'd like to see. And don't forget that you can also find the charts at my website, Prumihimo.com. So I'm very grateful that you've watched, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you for other videos that I have lined up.